A nice day there. Who better to talk about it than Karl Rove here in person? He's live and in person. Hello, Karl, to you. Who needs a billboard when you got a whiteboard?
Exactly.
Shall we introduce the whiteboard?
Well, these are, these are the things I'm going to be looking at tonight.
Okay.
First of all, I'm going to be looking at the numbers. How do they compare to the 2024 numbers? Because remember, these two states were basically 6-point victories for Kamala Harris. That was particularly unusual for New Jersey, which had been a 15-point victory for Joe Biden 4 years before. I'm going to be looking at the non-white voters in New Jersey, especially Hispanics, Passaic. You talked about it earlier. This was a big reason why the state moved right in the 2024 general election. And I'm going to be looking at the suburbs in Virginia. Chesterfield, a big suburban county outside of Richmond. Stafford County, which is sort of between Washington and Richmond. I'm going to be looking at how the Republicans are doing in those counties, because again, that's where Trump made some movement in 2024. I'm going to look at ticket splitters. Virginia has a history of splitting tickets. And this is why, even though the Republican candidate for governor is behind in the polls, the Republican Attorney General, Jason Mineris, is in a dead heat, maybe even leading slightly. I'm going to be looking at that. And then I'm going to be paying attention to what's happening down ballot. In New Jersey, there are assembly seats that Republicans look like they could pick up assembly seats in South New Jersey. And in Virginia, there are 8 Republican members of the House of Delegates whose districts were carried by Kamala Harris. I'm going to look for any erosion there. And then finally, Pennsylvania has a retention election for the Supreme Court. This is a state where the margin, the registration margin between Democrats and Republicans has gotten to very, very thin, and it's going to be looking at the results there. If the Democrat Supreme Court justices win comfortably, then that's going to show enthusiasm on their side. If it's a close race, that's going to show that the two parties are polarized and both energized.
Good stuff.
In Virginia, one of the stories that we covered was the Attorney General's race, and Jay Jones, who's the Democrat running, he had these texts that were very violent in nature, and he said this about Speaker Todd Gilbert, then Speaker. He said, 3 people, 2 bullets, Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head. Spoiler, put Gilbert in the crew with the 2 worst people you know, and he receives both bullets every time. In previous years, that might have been disqualifying. He would have resigned in shame. He would have been pushed out of the party, but that didn't happen. The Democratic gubernatorial candidate, Abigail Spanberger, barely distanced herself from him. Even President Obama appeared with him at an event in a rally.
It's a side of the
One more thing here. Keep the context for when that became public.
Right after Charlie Kirk.
Right after Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, and he texts those to a Republican colleague in the House of Delegates, where he was at the time, and also called for the death of Speaker Gilbert's children in their mother's arms. I mean, this is the sad state that we've come to in our politics, when Democrats can't even distance themselves from a guy who's calling for the murder of the Speaker of the House of Delegates in Virginia. And not only that, but he's doing it in. This is not 2 Democrats talking. He's open about this. He is a woman Republican member of the House of Delegates. He's texting her this stuff. For what reason?
She said that he was texting me. I was so disturbed by it, I called him on the phone. And then after we talked on the phone, he continued to text me on my phone.
Right.
No shame at all.
And of course, that we're not getting into the fact that he was once arrested not too many years ago, a couple of years ago, for traveling 116 miles an hour in a 70-mile-an-hour zone, given 1,000 hours of community service, which he spent most of those working for his own political action committee. I think that's a really great community service moment.
Let's have you as a resident historian and somebody who knew Dick Cheney, the former vice president and the late vice president, very well, whose passing we learned of this morning. And I know you have 100 stories, and your book is full of them, but today your reflections.
Yeah, well, he was a great and good man, and served our country with great dedication for years. Youngest White House chief of staff, served first in the Nixon administration, chief of staff to Gerald Ford.
At a real tough time for the country, by the way.
Yeah, really tough time for the country. And as a young man to help steer the White House during these critical years, 10 years in the Congress, he was made a member of the Republican House leadership as a freshman Republican. There was such enormous respect for him.
Did you want George Bush to pick him as his vice president?
No. In fact, the president, then governor, called me and said he was coming back to town from campaigning. He knew I was against the idea. He said, I want you to come to the governor's mansion 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. I want you to make the case to me why I shouldn't go with Cheney. So I show up.
Should not.
Should not.
Okay.
So I have my list. I still have the piece of paper. 8 reasons I don't need to worry about Wyoming. Guy had his first heart attack at 37. People think he's not going to last. You know, we've worked really hard to develop the image of you as your own man, not mini-me to your dad. Let's pick the guy who's, you know, Secretary of Defense during a time of war for your dad. You know, your people are worried about you being in Texas Oilman. What the heck? Let's get the guy who's the leader of the, you know, of the largest oil service company, field service company in the world. You know, very conservative congressman cast really bad votes, like vote with one of 3 members of the House to vote against the resolution calling for the release of. Oh, I had him. So this goes on. It's like world, as Dana can tell you, Bush was not a monologue guy. So we're like the World Wrestling Federation for 30 minutes. When I finish, I realize I can't unbutton my coat because I have sweat through my shirt that's been so contagious. So we finish, and Bush says, really good, really good. You made a good case there. Turns to the guy sitting next to him and says, Dick, got any questions for Carl? Cheney had been sitting there for half an hour while I kicked him around. And as we walked out, he says, I agree with some of what you had to say. And
but what was it that President Bush, why did he want to pick him?
Because he wanted somebody who would tell him what he thought after careful consideration, and whether he knew the president would agree with it or not, whether the president liked it or not, and that he would help him formulate good decisions. And when Bush made a decision, even if Cheney, as he often was on the opposite side of it, would be loyal and executing in the best way possible. That office is so powerful. You need somebody coming in there, having lunch with you once a week and sitting in all the meetings, who's going to tell you what it's like. And he also knew how a White House operated. So, you know, all these stupid stories about, you know, Cheney ran the White House. No, Cheney knew exactly who the president of the United States was and how that place needed to operate and encourage people. I mean, look, he could have easily said, you know what, that guy was against me. And yet we became close friends. We hunted together. I was on this secret committee that he chaired.
So he forgave you for your misgivings.
That's what one of the messages Bush was sending him was, I want to surround myself with people who will give it to me with the bark off.
The bark off.
Nice. Have a seat tonight, okay?
Thank you,
yes,
buddy.
thank
Looking
you,
forward
Carl.
to it.
Yeah, thank you for your story, too.
You bet.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.